Hey everybody, Tony Pellegrino from GenRight Off-Road, and we're over here on the motorsports side of our business where we do all of our Jeep builds, and I'm super excited to give you an update on Terremoto. We have Griffin custom make this radiator for us. Now, it requires that you hog out a bunch of the factory grill and make it so you can fit something bigger in. Then what we do is we make these brackets that allow you to mount the radiator because it hangs so much lower than a factory radiator. And this really gives you the cooling power for, a 650 horsepower engine. On the back, it's got two giant high-speed, high-power Spall fans that keep the air pulling through the radiator. That's really important that you're able to get that through and have redundancy of a second fan. That really makes a big difference. Back to the front, we've got two back-to-back power steering coolers, and this really helps to pull the temperature down to the steering fluid. It's also mounted directly in front of one of those fans, so it's helping to just pull a massive amount of air through there. That's a really important point to keep things cool. Next, we went to all solid aluminum body mounts. Now, the reason we're doing that is because we've got the cage is connected to the frame as well. So you have to do all those things at one time. If you leave one thing isolated rubber and the other thing solid, it's gonna crack and cause a lot of problems. So there's these front ones, and then they go all the way down. So basically we're replacing all of the body mounts, and that makes a big difference in the amount of rigidity, which forces the suspension to actually do all the work. A stock Jeep, normally the frame flexes a lot. We're actually removing all that flex and putting that straight into the cage and the structure. I meant to hold up the stock body mount. You can see, it's rubber isolated, and what we've made is to replace that. So it's a much nicer unit. A lot of these things are old and rusty and even torn. So just going this route is going to be much more durable. What we're doing now, and this is very common with aftermarket stuff, is I'm running an ATI super dampener crank pulley, but I bought it to the same spec as stock, so I'm a little surprised things are off. So I'm taking each of the spacers that goes in here for the accessories, and I'm machining them down on the lathe to make sure we get everything in line. If you don't do this, it'll chowder the side of the belt or throw the belt off pretty quick, especially at high RPM. I'm just finishing up plumbing the Edelbrock fuel rails, are brand new, nice, beautiful gloss black. And I'm putting on a fuel line that I made with the Russell's fitting and Russell hose. I really like this stuff. This turned out really nice. In addition to that, before I popped it all together, I put in the brand new fast fuel injectors. So this is a little bit higher performance than what I had in before, which was a factory GM type fuel injector. These also have a 2% range that they operate in, so you get a better match of the pressure and spray from each of the fuel injectors. So a nice little performance tip there. So in this vehicle, I run the dual Aeromotive Phantom pumps, right? So you have pump 1 and pump 2. So then what I do is I run pump 1 and pump 2 into here, and what the system doesn't need goes back out the regulator to the return on the tank, and what the vehicle needs for the engine feeds through this filter and out to the engine. So this time, I'm gonna plumb it with two of these systems. So each pump has their own regulator and filter. We've since then put in our fuel bezel. Now this is a fast fill, but it also serves, if you go to a gas station, where you can take this out and fill up at the gas station, which is pretty cool. So this lets the tank take 22 gallons in 30 seconds. So when we're out doing some racing, this is a perfect upgrade for what we're trying to do. Now, we showed you guys this tire holder before. This is why it's here, because we have to clear all this plumbing to make sure that my spare can fit in here, but give it a chance to reach down to the tank. The other thing I've been working on is we're going from push lock fittings and hose over to this Russel's hose and fittings, which is really a nice upgrade. And I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure to work with. All right, the next thing we're doing is we're reusing the wire harness we had. It was in great shape. So we're putting that all back on the engine, where this is part of what we need to plumb down in here. And you just plug everything back in. Kind of lined up right there. So there we go. And this is a special Motec connector. Let's pop on, and then we just tuck all this down in there. It's got the heat shield and the DEI heat shielding on there, which is the same stuff we did on the fuel line as well. This is a different type of silicone coated with fire retardant inside of it. This is more of a heat reflective that we use on the wiring. So good stuff for the different applications. They sell it for everything you're doing. We're going to be putting some on the firewall as well. One of the changes we made from version 1 Terremoto was we had the coil packs were mounted on the back of each head. That was cool. It gave us a really clean upper area with some nice valve covers, but it was a total pain to maintain or change those coil packs. So instead we decided on version 2 to go back to the standard style. It's got a shorter plug wire. These are off the shelf and much easier to maintain. All of the innovations we're doing, we're making sure they're available to you as the public. One of them happens to be this reservoir mount. And this reservoir mount comes with bolt holes, so you can either bolt it on or weld it on. And in our case, we welded it. I've actually had these on Terremoto for a long time, but they're now available to the public. This is one of the extra steps that we take. We weld on tabs and use bulkhead AN fittings so that the lines that come down off the brake pedal land here, and then one goes to the rear, which is a hard line all the way to the back, and then this hits a flex line that goes down the control arm and then out to the two wheels. We use these same flex lines all throughout the vehicle, so you carry one spare and you got what you need for anywhere on the vehicle. One of the other things we do is we remotely mount the oil filter. Now this fixes one of the problems. The factory GM has a small oil filter hooked right to the bottom of the oil pan. Well, that doesn't work for us because the drive shaft travels up and it would hit that filter. In this case, we're able to run a larger K&N oil filter that has higher volume and higher flow. In addition to that, we're able to monitor the temperature and the pressure through this little block right here. So it really gets a lot of things done that make it simplified in the plumbing. Now I chose this location because it's the safest location and easiest to access for oil changes. So that's a great spot. One of the other cool things that we're now offering as a product is this brand new ball bearing steering column and the mounting brackets that go with it. This is going to be an option for our race tube set that goes underneath the aluminum JK dash that we offer. This puts the wheel in the right location at the right angle for what you want to be driving to optimize everything. Next, we have also put in a brand new set of low profile seat mounts. These allow the proper spacing between the top of your helmet and the roof for passing tech if you want to race. I can tell you this thing is turning out really nice, and I can't wait to get behind the wheel on this thing.